guys! So I've been stuck at home, like all of you I'm presuming are hoping, and it's given me a lot of time to read. And as an avid equestrian and reader, I've got a lot of horse books. And my cat's outside my door trying to get in. Hold on! Be patient! Come on! Do you want in or not? Get in here! Oh, you brat! Problem solved. So I thought that I could go over my favorite horse books, both non-fiction and fiction. It's actually non-fiction and fiction where I'm sitting, but anyway. So I'm gonna start with my top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I can't count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Top 10 fiction books. These are either probably for kids because they don't write very many horse books for teens and adults. And the ones that I do are kind of graphic and not very enjoyable to read. You know, you want to read something that's gonna transport you to a different world, not make you sad. Though some of these books will make you sad. They're all very good, so I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, this is my first favorite books, Tin Can Tucker by Lynn Hall. It's about a girl who gets out of the foster system and she runs away because she really wants to join rodeo because this belt buckle is the only link she has to her real family. And what follows is she meets this guy who's a rodeo clown and his wife, and they end up taking the girl in, and she ends up retraining this bronc to rodeo, and that's her obviously, and her horse on the cover. My second favorite book is The Christmas Horse by Glenn Falk, and just looking at it, look at that cover art, look how pretty that is. This is about a boy, I guess probably a boy, man. He's a young adult, lives on a ranch, I'm not sure where, somewhere Midwest or West. He ends up seeing this black Mustang that he really wants to train, and someone ends up training it for him, and it's a whole long story of how he trains this colt and moves to the city and trains the colt to be a ropey horse, I believe. I don't do rodeo, so I'm not super familiar with these terms, but it's still a very good book and you should read it. And it's not all about Christmas, so don't think it's just some Christmas story about horses. It's a really good book. Then my third favorite book is The War Horse by Michael Morpurgo. Everyone's probably read this book. It's a classic. It's a great book. I have the movie also, and I love it. It makes me cry every time, but it's still a great book. And if you haven't read it yet, it's about this boy who his father drunkenly buys this horse, and it's set in like early 1900s, like for World War I, and his horse ends up getting sold off to the military, and the boy ends up going after him and joining the military. I'm not very good at talking. And it's kind of through the horse's perspective, which is really interesting, something that we don't see very often in books. And it does have a happy ending, so don't worry. I mean, you might cry because it's happy, but it's a good book, and you should read it and watch the movie. The movie's really good. My fourth favorite book is this one, A Horse Called Holiday by Frances Wilbur. It's about this girl who really wants to learn how to do show jumping, or eventing, I suppose. She mainly does show jumping, but they mention eventing a little bit. And she ends up meeting this chestnut thoroughbred that they have no idea how old it is, no idea his training, and he is just this buck wild horse that she ends up taking under her wing and training. And it's a lot about the girl's journey to train herself along with the horse, because she likes to rush through things and take the easy way out, and this horse cannot do that. It's a very sensitive horse that needs more training and more time than the average horse. This book, I've lost count, what is this? 5. Fifth favorite book, Horse Called, or Beauty, never mind, just Beauty. And this book is about this boy, I don't remember, I haven't read this in a while, but I think it's about this boy who ends up getting this really old, sweet mare that he ends up taking care of, and he's dealing with some tragedy in his life. And yeah, don't read this if you want to be happy. You're gonna cry if you read this, I'm sorry, but you will. My sixth favorite book is Brown Sunshine of Sawdust Valley by Marguerite Henry. And just look how cute that cover is. This book is about this girl and her family. They end up buying this old mare who they think is just a dud, who can only walk and she wants something quicker, you know, like most little kids, they want a horse they can go fast on. And the surprise about the middle of the book, obviously I'm not ruining it, it's right on the cover. She ends up giving birth to a mule, and the mule ends up becoming this girl's horse, and it's her journey with the mule, how she trains it, how she grows up, and the connection they make. And also it has this really cute little pencil drawings. I should go through the other books. They have cute drawings too, I'll show you. Okay, this is for a Christmas horse. We've got this really cool, almost pen-like drawing. My other favorite book is Hummer. Again, it's about a troubled kid with a troubled childhood. I think the girl's nickname is Hummer. I haven't read some of these in a while. And she ends up meeting, I think this is right, this man with this mare that she does endurance, and the old man can't ride the horse anymore, so he enlists the girl to condition the horse and compete in this really long trail ride. And about the middle of the book, this is kind of spoilers, so maybe skip to the next book if you don't want to hear it. The girl ends up getting taken away from her family because, again, she has a really hard home life, and she just panics and kind of loses all the will she had to live because she doesn't have this horse anymore, and it's her trying to get back to the horse so she can go on the competition and just, you know, be with the horse, what we all do. Then this book, Spirit Horse by Ned Ackerman. This is one of the first horse books I think I read. It's about this boy, I call it boys and girls, I don't say men and women. This boy, Native American, he cannot ride a horse despite his people being avid horsemen, and that kind of makes him an outcast, and he ends up finding the spirit horse when they're raiding this white man's encampment. And it's his journey to try and gentle and tame this horse and to find acceptance in both himself and within his people. This next one is The Fire Pony by Rodmund Philbrick, about this boy and his brother who are on the run from the foster system, and the brother has a very short temper and he's gotten into some trouble because of it, and they end up going to this ranch, and his brother is almost like this horse whisperer. He can not really gentle any horse, but every single horse he comes across just immediately likes him and stops being a jerk. I don't know how else to describe it. He's not really a horse whisperer, he's just really good with horses. And they end up going on a trail ride with the boss of the ranch, and they realize that the little boy, his younger brother, is a super good rider, so the boss ends up buying him a young horse for him to train and ride. And then this whole ending happens, and I won't spoil it because you really need to read this book. But it's kind of sad, so maybe don't read this if you don't want to cry. But it's good. It's just a little sad. My last favorite fiction book is Jodie's Journey by Colin Thiel. It's about this girl who, I forget which of these horses, I'm assuming it's the gray that she's leading. She has this really nice show jumping horse, and they do show jumping all the time, and they're doing really well competition wise, and then she starts getting, I forget what the specific term is, but she starts getting like arthritis in her hands, and she can't hold the reins anymore, so she has to give up riding. And it's kind of just her journey, as the title says, with dealing with this issue and not being able to ride anymore. I haven't read this in a while, but it's a good book. It's not quite as heavy-hitting, if I recall, as the other books, but it has a very dramatic ending, so you should check it out. Okay. Now, these are two books that I would maybe not recommend, but they're not my favorites that I've read. This one, Saddle My Good Horse by Sam Finden. This is actually a Montana author. I actually met him at a big Montana fair. I thought this was going to be a good book, you know. It talks about like teenagers and horses and young love, you know. Sounds like a nice western country book. It's kind of smut. I'm sorry. It's not my favorite book that I've read. It's I was expecting more horses, and it was pretty much just this boy doing dumb things to try to get this girl to sleep with him, or just kiss him regardless. And it's kind of creepy. It talks about girls in tank tops, and yeah, would not recommend this book. I'm sorry to the author, but it wasn't my favorite book that I've read of horse books. Then this one, old classic. I tried reading it as a little kid. Got to one of the inappropriate scenes, and my mom promptly took the book away from me and would not let me read it till I was older. And I just kind of haven't gone back. I mean, I know the story. I've seen the movie. It's very famous. Yeah. Maybe don't read this if you're like 8 when I tried to read this, or else your mom's going to take the book away and not let you read it. Here are some other books that aren't necessarily my favorite, but they're still good. They're all pretty much the same. Just horse stories upon horse stories upon horse stories. You know, Chicken Soup for the Soul, they're very famous, but just, you know, short little horse stories that kids might like, and they're still very fun, but they're not my favorites. They're still good books. Then some of my other average book choices is this one, Wild Horse Summer by Clary. Just says writing. I don't know who the author is. Who is the author of this? I'm not sure. It just says Clarion Books. Anyway, it's about this girl who goes to this ranch to visit her blind cousin who horseback rides, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of cool descriptions of this girl and how she rides and how she goes about her daily life on the ranch. And it involves like Mustangs and, you know, stallions, as the title says. Basically every little girl's like fantasy when you go to a ranch with Mustangs. And it's a cute book, but it's not necessarily my favorite. This one, Blaze Finds the Trail by Anderson Macmillan. This is a picture book that was actually my mom's. It's super cute. It's got these super cute drawings. It's just a cute book about a boy and his horse. And it's very old, but it's very cute. This has these really neat like pencil drawings in the middle of the book, which was one of my favorite things as a kid. Like, you're reading, then all of a sudden you get this picture of a horse, which was neat. Obviously most equestrians have probably read these, especially English writers. Saddle Club. They're good. They're not my favorite, but they're still good. Each book is different, so I can't really describe it to you, but there's like this group of girls who ride horses, and they form the Saddle Club, and there's also a TV show, I think, maybe a movie. And yeah, it's just horsey goodness for kids. It's fun. Oh, here's some books that I haven't read yet, or if I have, I don't remember reading them. I have The Winner's Circle. I have the 8th and 10th books, so I can't really read these because I don't really know what's going on. But it sounds like it's about a girl who her family raises racehorses and she rides them. So kind of like Saddle Club, but more involving thoroughbreds. Then this one is by another Montana author, The Haunted Ranch by Linda Yeagle. I think this one has artwork too. Nope, never mind. Nope, no artwork. This is supposed to be about a girl who finds this horse. She trains it up, raises it. Again, every little girl's fantasy with horses. She struggles with stuff. And also there's a ghost on the ranch. That's just skimming the back cover. I'm sure it's a good book. I just need to read it still. Is Lost Horse Park. Again, another Montana author. I met the author. Actually got it signed. Troy B. Ketchley. This, I haven't even read this yet. I got it a while ago, but I really need to read this. Set in Montana. It has like something about horses, about the Vietnam War. Yeah, not totally about horses, but it's still horse-centered, so I threw it in here. And that is all I have. Those are all my books for fiction. Now we're going to get into nonfiction, which is an even bigger pile, so I hope you're ready.